Jonathan Lee Bridges, aka JLR. I'm in front of Tim Terry's Music Business. This is along Curlew Road in Pinellas County, Florida. Now, why am I here? I am here because I am following the disappearance of 19-year-old Dylan Rounds from Lucin, Utah. There was an individual that goes by the name James M. Terry. James Michael Terry. And he's identifying himself as a private investigator. The family of Dylan Rounds, Justin and Candace Cooley. Justin Rounds and Candace Cooley, got a lawyer, and a lawyer out of Idaho Falls sent James M. Terry a cease and desist letter right here. A cease and desist letter to this address right here. The individual who goes by James Terry, who is identifying himself as a private investigator, has been getting involved with the Dylan Rounds case. Why? I'm going to read this cease and desist letter that was sent by the Swafford Law Firm in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Dear Mr. Terry, my office has been retained by the Rounds and Cooley families to send this letter to you and demand that you immediately cease and desist your continued non-authorized involvement in the Dylan Rounds case. You have made malicious, unfounded, and incorrect statements and have made verbal and written attacks on the Rounds and Cooley's families. Your continued unauthorized, malicious, false, and inflammatory statements are defamatory and subject you to payment of damages to my clients. Your actions are diverting the focus from finding Dylan Rounds to what appears to be your own personal vendetta and or to promote yourself at the expense of the truth. You are interfering with the undermining of the investigation of the Dylan Rounds disappearance. You are damaging the integrity and effectiveness of the entire investigation by your unauthorized and misinformed actions, both publicly and privately, concerning this investigation. The family of Dylan Rounds immediately demands that you cease and desist with any further actions, verbal or written, pertaining to the investigation of Dylan Rounds' disappearance. Your failure to stop all further action, verbal or written, will result in the filing of legal action against you. The family of Dylan Rounds do not want to waste their time, resources, and energy with any further action against you in this matter, and therefore request your immediate compliance. Your background and record of services has confirmed your lack of credibility and integrity. This has been further demonstrated by your actions in this matter since your release. Now, they sent it to this address here, on Curlew Road, Palm Harbor, Florida. I looked into Mr. Terry a little bit, and I have questions myself. There's some mugshots of Mr. Terry. There's a mugshot here, and there's a mugshot here. Mr. Terry, did I say Perry earlier? If I said Perry, I mean Terry. Mr. Terry has numerous arrests in Pinellas County, Florida for grand theft and fraud. He's around the same age as me. I was born in 76. I'm 45, soon to be 46 years old. His dad owns this business here. His dad, Jim Terry, Senior, in his 70s, primary address in Gainesville, Florida. Mr. Terry was put on probation for his criminal acts. Now, is he a legit private investigator or not? I looked in the Florida Sunbiz registry, and I also looked under private investigative searches in Pinellas County, in Florida, in the state of Florida. Nothing came up of James Terry. Nothing came up of James Terry in the state of Florida. and his business that he claims to own, Gulf Coast Investigation, out of here, there's nothing registered in the Florida. Now I have some questions. I wrote James a letter. I'll show you. And here it is. And I'll read it to you. Windy out here. Mr. James Terry, my name is Jonathan Riches, an investigative reporter. I would like to interview you about the cease and desist that was sent to you by the lawyer for the parents of Dylan Rounds, Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds. I searched many databases in Florida and found no private investigator's license in your name and found no business under Gulf Coast Investigation that you claim you run. Do you have a private investigator's license? If so, from where? If not, why do you claim to be a PI? I have many other questions for you. Feel free to contact me, jonathan.riches@originalmedia.global. I'm going to put this on the business here because I do want to talk. I do want to talk to James. Right here, left it here, Jim Terry Music, helping Florida sound better. So a lot of YouTube creators have been putting James Terry on their show, claiming he is a PI and giving him a platform. But is he really a PI? People need to ask this guy, is he really a PI, and show the proof. Because to me, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, in order to be a legit PI, you need to get a license. You can't just go around, I mean, you can, but you're not, I don't think you can do business as a PI if you're not really a PI. If you're not really a PI. There's nothing in any database in Florida where he is registered here, where his arrest records use this address, and then also on the cease and desist, they say at the rear office. Now let me spin this, I don't know if there's a rear office here. We'll go over here and check it out. But this is for anyone also that, you know, has problems with James Terry. Just bringing awareness. Just bringing awareness. I do have a lot of questions. There's a fence here. I don't see any vehicles here except these WOW trucks. These WOW trucks. There is a car. A truck at the end there, but that looks like it's abandoned. So it's just a lot here. It's right across from Joanne Furniture. This business is right next to Bar 2350 Drinks. But James Terry, I do have questions for you. Please contact me at the address that I listed. I come here respectfully. I come here legally. Left a note on your door. Are you really a private investigator? Why did you want to get yourself involved with the Dylan Rounds case? And then let's talk about your priors. Are you a convicted felon or not? You were arrested for felony charges. Seems like you got probation for your grand theft charges in the past.
I think, you know, in football we call it chicken fighting.
Okay, who's your team? Because I'm going to judge you.
Well, the team that I played, I was with the Denver Broncos, and I played most of my career in what's called the arena football. My background is professional football. It's not law enforcement. So my background is professional football. I'm actually currently one of the oldest players in the country. I still play a sport called arena football, and I've played that for almost 22 years. I won a national title in college, and my background is football. It's how I got into private investigating. A lot of guys I played with were bounty hunters and skip tracers. So what I ended up doing is they said, well, you're not a felon. You can carry a gun. Why don't you get into bounty hunting? And I didn't like the bounty hunting thing. I liked the private investigating thing. So my mom and I enrolled into private investigating college at Hillsborough Community College in Tampa, Florida. And I went to the courses. I completed the college courses and became a licensed private investigator as an understudy in Florida. Once you become a private investigator going through the courses for several weeks or a month in the state of Florida, you then have to understudy somebody for 2 whole years before you can be your own licensed private investigator. It's called a C and a CC license. So what I did, and this is the point I was trying to make before, because I was trying to get you guys in you know this because you and I have talked about doing this in Wyoming, is what I did was I went to Mississippi, which does not have any college courses that need to be taken. And all you have to do is open up a business license and you are a licensed private investigator. So I took my college background, went to Mississippi, and became a PI like that about 6 years ago. So that's my background. I don't have a favorite football team. Whatever one I'm